William L. Wipfler was ordained an Episcopal priest in 1955, and in that same year he married Pauline Papperman, a high school English teacher. They served as missionaries in the Dominican Republic from 1955 to 1963, and then in Costa Rica from 1964 to 1966. In 1967, Reverend Wipfler began his work at the National Council of Churches, Caribbean and Latin America Department, becoming director of that department in 1968. From 1977 to 1988, he served as director of the National Council of Churches Human Rights Office. In 1978, Reverend Wipfler received his Ph.D. from Union Theological Seminary, New York, New York.
We're now down in the industrial section of Buffalo, and the factories over on, there's a General Mills factory, there is a Nabisco factory. Out ahead of us, it used to be old steelworks. And one of the things that was such a tragedy for Buffalo is that a couple decades ago, they say there was no collusion, but within a matter of 1 month, every one of the steelworks, Gibraltar, Bethlehem, Continental, all shut down at one time. And I mean, you know, no collusion, but they all laid off their employees. They announce, for example, that it's an outrage against God and God's creation that 80% of the world's goods and substance are controlled and consumed by 20% of the world's population. Many nice folks don't want prophets around who talk like that. Be faithful to your calling. Remember that the prophets and the apostles who were before you were persecuted even far more harshly than you will ever be. Now, I mentioned to you my friendship with Archbishop Romero. He was a man who spoke truth to power and paid the ultimate sacrifice. He was a friend of the poor and the oppressed, those who were persecuted and killed solely for pleading for justice and a piece of whatever there was, a piece. A steel mill might end up laying off its people and closing. But then the question is, how about all the suppliers? How about all the little industries, the little businesses that have grown up around the steel industry? They were closing down. So it was one of those terrible snowball effects that you do have when a major industry disappears. This was a place that did milling of steel products. And of course, a good portion of that is closed down.
So, Bill, I know you've seen in many places in Latin America, beginning with the Dominican Republic, a kind of heartless capitalism, what some of the popes have called the savage capitalism. We see that a lot in Latin America. But do you see some of the same principles or lack of principles at work in business issues, business sectors here in the States?
Not only is, I mean, right here where we are, that the Gibraltar, Bethlehem Steel closed down was that kind of don't care about the employees, let's just, you know, make sure we don't lose any of our profits. Just look at the charts about who earns what. It's pretty horrendous. We have returned to really the time of Teddy Roosevelt, who surprisingly did a great deal to put brakes on the large imperial families at that time. now it's going with the controls loosened, with taxation change. It's going back to a small percentage of people. I read a figure the other day that the top 1% in this country earns more, I don't know if they earn it, but receives more of the gross national product than the entire lower 53%.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty unfortunate division of resource.
And more people in this country are just having a harder and harder time making ends meet.
It's terrible.
Just paying basic bills and education and medical bills.
We provided the cars and the other things that were available to everyone and supplied America in a sense. But now, everybody's in service.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is in a grocery store, or who knows what. All of the service industries. We're not a manufacturing country anymore. We're not a producing country. In the night before he died for us, our Lord Jesus Christ took bread, and when he had given thanks to you, he broke it and gave it to his disciples and said, "Take, eat. This is my body, which is given for you. Do this for the remembrance of me." After supper, he took the cup of wine, and when he had given thanks, he gave it to them and said, "Drink this, all of you. This is my blood of the new covenant, which is shed for you and for many for the forgiveness of sins. Whenever you drink it, do this for the remembrance of me."
Bill, we know that big business can be very heartless and tends to put off the costs of doing business onto society. So these costs become part of society's budget rather than the company budget. What is your view of this?
One thing is they underpay their employees. Secondly, they put them on too few hours to be required to pay them benefits. And so if a Walmart employee is ill, in spite of the fact they're being paid, they don't have medical coverage. They go to an emergency room, something I would never deny them. But when they go to that emergency room, I pay part of their bill because they deserve the medical care they get. Walmart won't take the responsibility of assisting with that medical care. The emergency room has to be covered in terms of its costs. So when I go there, pay a portion of the medical bill of Walmart employees. I think that's a tragedy. And I think that they should be ashamed of themselves for reaping now the profits of the largest employer in the United States.
They're also very big now in Nicaragua. There are two supermarket chains, Pali and La Union, which are owned by Walmart.
Well, they're the biggest international corporation. And the thing that's interesting is it's a family-owned business. So it's not that massive stockholders are earning a great deal, or that the employees are participating in the profits. None of that. that there's no way that the employees who are Walmart employees will benefit in the future from having worked for Walmart. To all intents and purposes, they are temps, temporary work.
And in Nicaragua, of course, they're making use of the cheapest labor in Latin America. You have people in Nicaragua working for $150 a month, up to $200 a month, and so it's a great attraction for the multinational corporations, as well as pulling a lot of their profits out of a country like that.
The body of Christ, keep you in eternal life. Small companies cannot compete in any way with a company like Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
They arrive in a place, they undersell every local entrepreneur, and then when all the local businesses are shutting down, prices in Walmart move up. Mm-hmm. And it's a steal case in every case. They are robbing the local economy, they are robbing the economy of the people of the region, they're destroying local business, and they do not share their profits beyond themselves.